Alright, y'all, what's going on? It's Neil Charles back for another video. Today's date is March 29, 2018, 7:52 p.m. in Marion, South Carolina. This video is really going to be about how to effectively use your credit card, secure credit card. No matter what kind of credit card you get, you can use this method. The reason why I'm explaining this video is because a lot of people ask me a lot of times, how do I use my credit card? How much do I spend? What do I do? How I pay my bills? Why I got to do this? Why? A lot of times. So I'm gonna break it down thoroughly on the whole process. This is gonna probably be a little lengthy video. I'm gonna try to keep it short, but it's a good bit of information, but it's gonna get you squared away. So we're gonna go ahead and go over here. All right, as you see here, you will learn about dates and how not to have interest on a credit card. So first thing you need to know is your closing date. That's the end of your cycle. Everybody should know their closing date of every revolving account you have on your credit report. Every single one. So every credit card has a cycle. There's a closing date where they bill you. Payment due date, when your payment is due. The reporting date, that's when the company reports to the bureaus. Normally it's after the closing date. It could be the day after. It could be 5, 6, 7, 8 days after the closing date. But there is a difference. So this is how I do it. If you don't have cash to buy things or pay bills, do not use the credit card. So what I mean by that is, I ain't saying, don't use your credit card, whatever like that. What I'm saying is how I typically use my credit card is if I have the cash to buy things, I use my credit card. If it's not a need or something I need, I don't use my credit card. But if I have the cash to buy things, I use my credit card and pay my credit card off. Now, unless you're in survival mode. Survival mode meaning recently in our area, South Carolina, we had a bad hurricane. We was out of power for like, 5, 6, 7 days. Food running out, gas running out. Now I'm in survival mode. I don't really care about nothing I just talked about because I'm in survival mode. I'm going to max my card out and pay my minimum payment if I have to do it because I'm in survival mode. That's what I mean. So, but you know your scenario. I got to keep saying that. So as you see here, there's a credit limit of $300. So what do I do? How do I use my credit card? First thing we need to know is your closing date. So let me go to my computer now. I'm going to log into my American Express account and I'm going to show y'all my closing date. As you see right here, it says since March 28th, my next closing date is April 26th. So boom, I already know April 26th is my closing date. Know what you can afford. Right now, I have a $300 secure card, so I can work with $300. So you have $300 on a secure card. You have a 30-day bill cycle. Your closing date is April 26th. Today's date is March 29, 2018. So before the closing date, the balance must be 30% of the limit or less. That's why I put that. I hear a lot of people say 30%. 30% is key. There's nothing wrong with 30%, but I've seen higher scores, higher FICO scores at 10%. So here's the math right here. 10% of 300 is 30 bucks. 30% of 300 is 90. Now, how did I get it? Let me go to my handy dandy calculator. Bring this over here. All right, check it out. So you have a credit limit 300 times 0.10. That's how I got 30 bucks. So 300 times 0.30. That's how I got 90. You could do this for any limit. If you have, let's say you had a $700 limit, same process, times 0.10. Your 10% is 70. 700 times 0.30. $210 is your 30%. So that being said, let's go ahead. Okay, now you have bills to pay. Typical bills. The reason why I tell people use the credit card for your bills. Some people say gas, that's a bill you got to get to work. If you're lifting, if you're using Lyft or Uber to get to work, train, those are like considered bills you need to get on with life. I ain't saying go out there, put Jordans on a credit card, extravagant getaway and you trying to pay it back. No, this is just typical every month daily bills that we have as human beings. So as you see here, water bill 50 bucks and I got the due dates April 30th 2018, light bill 120, due date April 23rd, internet 100, due date April 11th. So that's a total of 270 bucks. Now my limit is $300. So I'm still in compliance with what I'm doing. I'm only using my secure card. I ain't breaking no rules. So my total is $270. Let's say, for instance, you get paid every 2 weeks. So the pay dates are April 9th and April 23rd. That's a Friday. So what do you do? Now, if this is my scenario, this is how I would do it. I don't know your circumstance. I don't know how you're living. I can only just do a scenario. You know your circumstances. So you got to figure this part out. But let's say for this individual was living paycheck to paycheck. This is how I would do it. Use the credit card to pay on the bills. And now all bills, pay back credit card down to 30 or 10% by closing date. Which means I would take my secure card right now, pay up all my bills right now early because I'm on a new cycle. That means, for instance, March 29th, as of today, I would pay all these bills right now and be done with. So I'm good with my bills. So now you know what you can afford. So April 9th, that's my pay period. I'm going to pay $100 because my internet bill was $100 and it's due on the 11th. So if I was using cash, that means I would have paid that bill that time anyway. So y'all drift what I'm saying about that. Use it for bills because you would have used cash or a debit card to pay this bill anyway. So April 9th, I would have paid $100. I would have waited 2 weeks. April 23rd, I would have paid $120 because April 23rd, my light bill due. And if I didn't have the credit card, I would have paid with cash, which means if I didn't pay my bill by April 23rd, that means I would be sitting in the dark. Understandable, but you use your credit card. So I would pay $120 and $100. So now, as you see here, that's a total paid back so far is $220. So out of the whole $270, out of the whole credit card of $300, I use $270. So 270 minus the 220 is $50. So the balance on the credit card before the closing date is $50. Do y'all track with that? I'm gonna go back real quick. My closing date is the 26th, so I paid everything down by April 23rd. So, all right, where I'm at. Okay, so right now you are in compliance with the 30% rule. If you want to do 10%, you know what to do. Just bring the balance to $30. So now don't do anything until after the closing date. What I mean by that is you already did your part. You already paid your bills. You already did everything you have to do. Do not do anything until after April 26th. So after April 26th, you will have a statement. It will say something like this: balance is $50 and minimum is $25 due on May 21st. That's typically how bills are. They have your full balance, or they say, you know, full balance with your minimum payment, the minimum you could pay by the due date. So as soon as the statement comes out, just go ahead and pay the balance completely off and zero it out, so you don't have no interest. 1, and 2, the second reason why you want to pay it off, for instance, this is why I like to use utility bills. $50 was the water bill, which is due on the 30th. So which means you were going to pay your water bill anyway by the 30th. So if you zero out your account or just pay it completely off your balance, you're not doing nothing. You're not losing nothing because you was going to pay that bill anyway. So as soon as you pay that $50, you're at a zero balance. So you can't have a zero balance. I mean, you can have a zero balance, but you can't owe interest on a zero balance. You will only charge interest on a remaining balance, which means if you would have just paid the $25, which is what they said to do was the minimum, they would charge you interest the following month off of the remaining balance on your account. That's how interest is calculated. So now my math isn't okay, but the last time I checked, anything times 0 is 0. So that's how you basically do that. Then you restart the process again. So first thing you want to know is your closing date of your credit card and your credit limit. Calculate your 10% or 30%. You know what kind of person you are. You know, if you could do 30, do 30. If you could do 10, do 10. But I recommend 10 due to the fact of better results on scoring. But if not, do 30% of the limit. At the same time, once you do that, figure out things that you use monthly. Like I said, bills, water bill, light bill, internet, Lyft, Uber, you taking a train, gas in your car. Those are bills we need to pay. So if you use your credit cards in that manner, you're not losing out on anything. Follow the dates, pay your balance down by the 10% before the closing date. Once your statement comes out, pay the balance in full and then restart the process. That's basically how this goes. And you do this every month for the rest of your life. So with that being said, that concludes this video. It's pretty lengthy, but I got to break it down like this. I hope y'all stay to the end, but more to come.